While I'm working on this belly brick stitch, you might notice that every row with the 2 beads, the bead is being pulled and it's leaving a hole. That is okay. If you don't like it and you want to use the extra thread, you could double back and thread it to attach to this middle bead in the rows of 3. But when you do the actual peyote technique, these beads of 2 will squeeze back into place, like this one I've just added. The gaps will not be there as you progress with the pattern, so don't worry about that gapping. If you do really worry about it and you don't like it and you think it's going to give you problems later, all you want to do is just double back through the single beads that you've just added. Go through the middle bead of the row before. Make sure you don't double thread. And go through that bead that you feel like is out of place. Sorry, I don't mean to hit my camera. See, I've gone for the one that's to the side of that gap. And then double back beside it. It's the one beside it. I'm going through that. Doubling back in the forward direction again. And that will pull this bead into place and close off that gap. Sorry, my camera keeps unfocusing. See how it's closed now? And you've got 3, 2, 3, 2. And then going through the middle bead again. Always go through the middle bead because you need those outside beads for the peyote stitch. You don't want to clog them up with this. And then back to where you were. It takes extra thread. It's an unnecessary step. The peyote stitch will put things back in place when you work on the body itself and build up the sides of the body. But if the spacing is really bothering you and you're really not confident with it in the peyote step, that's how you close it up. Now we're going to increase, catching the thread in between the 2 beads of the last row. Add 2, add a 3rd, going through that same space of the last row. And you might notice because you already doubled back to close that last gap, this one is not going to make a gap again. It's already been closed off. It's already secured to itself in the middle. And the reason why the gap happens is because you are adding 2 beads and they want to line up with where the thread came from. They want to line up with that outside bead that you're starting in. So it's just how your thread lays, where the bead wants to be, and the increasing and decreasing that you're doing as you make this ribbon. Bead physics is what it is. These 2 beads that I just added will probably make a gap again as I finish this increase of 3. Because it wants to line up with those outer beads. But we need that space to be taken by a delica in the next step. We don't want those 3 beads lining up like this. As long as you don't have your tension too high and you're not like reefing on your thread while you're working, when you do the peyote step, these will close off. They'll just naturally fall into place, and the delicas will push them against each other. So don't worry about the spacing and the gapping. It's okay.